Hello and welcome back to episode 235 of Noobtoob, a highly sporadic podcast where we're talking about a ton of different games.
Yep, we're talking about games that we've been playing since we last recorded, and we're going to have our kind of like most anticipated next 12 months or so, or whatever.
18, we'll see.
Whatever we know about that's coming up.
And we'll also try and answer a few questions from the fans and viewers,
So let's get started with Shovel Knight.
Oh, Shovel Knight, yes. So this is a game on, is it just 3DS or is it other ones?
I think it's just 3DS, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and this is a game where it's going to be kind of like a standard platformer where it really evokes a lot of the imagery and style of old NES games.
Very much so. Very intentionally so.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that like they did like very very chiptune music.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's super 8-bit. And very kind of, I would almost say, Mega Man jump style.
Yep. Well, the difficulty of Mega... It feels like you take the difficulty of Mega Man, the weapons of Castlevania, some of the exploratory stuff of, like, not really Metroid, but kind of some of those aspects.
A little bit.
And you roll it all into one, and then out pops this game.
Yeah.
It's like a love letter, man, to old games.
It is. And it's very much aimed at this demographic.
Yeah.
Right here. Right. This is like... Anybody that is like 18 to 40, you know, like that just.
Actually, you know what? 18-year-olds, that would be 1996.
Oh, well, super
at this point.
they were playing their older brother's Nintendo.
I don't know, man.
Maybe not.
At this point, I think it almost is like 25
to 40
plus. Yeah, like it's.
But it's very much aimed at like nostalgia. I mean, everybody's into the 8-bit nostalgia shit right now. But it's really interesting in that it starts off very approachable and it gets unbelievably hard very quickly, because the thing is like in every level there's these optional things that you can go and get, like the notes, I guess it's called.
The notes from the bar where you get music, basically.
Right. So the problem is that you're collecting money, and you're collecting money to buy upgrades, but
it's super important.
Very important to get these upgrades, but it's also important to get the notes.
Yep.
So like you'll see this thing, you're like, oh god, I can try and jump across this chasm, but if you fuck up, they take like 1,000 of your gold.
Yeah.
And the only way to get it back is to go back and unfuck yourself and get the gold, but then you fuck up again, and you lose all more gold.
So it's punishing and extra punishing, but it's almost like a reward, though. It's just like, well, you messed up. Don't mess up again.
Exactly, but then I mess up again.
and again.
And then like it's just like, I've got
left.
like no money left, and then I like go back and like see these like little bags of gold like floating in the air, and I'm just like, fuck it.
I'm not even going to get it.
I'm just going to leave the money there and go on to the end of the level.
So is it that mechanic that kind of pissed you off just to like make you stop playing at that point?
I'm going to keep going back to it. Okay. So I've got it on my 3DS now. I was playing Layton on the flight out here, which we'll talk about later. But it's in my rotation. Like it's like one of those things where it's like once my heartbeat goes down a little bit, I'm like, all right, I'll go back.
Even for like 20 minutes, and you're like,
I can do it until like, because then I'll get to some points where I'm like, fuck. Especially like bosses, some of the bosses start getting nasty hard.
Oh yeah, I know. And at least the cool thing, like one of the aspects I really liked about it is that they have a lot of good save points. Mm-hmm. So they'll put the boss, save point right in front of the boss. They'll put a save point right in front of something's hard. So you're never really repeating a lot. It's just that you will, if you messed up once, you'll probably mess up 2 or 3 more times before you nail it. And then you're like 2,000 gold left, and you're like, now I can't buy the health upgrade. And you're right, that kind of pisses me off.
But some of it's mean. Like they'll do stuff where you're in the dark and you're trying to jump between
I know exactly that level you're talking about.
You can't see where you're jumping, and you fucking lose your money.
Yeah, so think of Mega Man, where it's just like, not only do you just die and have to start over, but they kind of like spit on you like every time you die too.
Yeah.
It's a little extra. But the thing about the checkpoints is that you can destroy them, right?
No.
Yeah, there's a risk reward. If you destroy them, you get tons of gold. So you can say, do I really need that checkpoint?
How did you find that you could destroy
them? I read in the review before I played it. I'm just like, that's a cool mechanic. But you know what? I never destroyed it. I'm just like, I'm too much of a pussy. Like, I know I need most of them. Yeah. But I think for the first 2 worlds, you can probably, play those and destroy those. Because like I didn't really die for the first, set of levels. Yeah. Even the second set, it was like
they start gentle.
Dude, that ramp is just like,
yeah, and they just bend you over and just ream you. It's like, you put on the Oculus Rift, they turn you into a woman,
pretty much,
lay you down,
and just say, "Here you go, here's a shovel."
But it's cool.
It was really cool.
I very much like it. Like I was really impressed with the artwork to it. Like, it grabs you, and it's not quite as punishing as some of the old 8-bit games.
It's not as bad as Mega Man, for sure.
Right, because they've added in all the save mechanics that we were missing as kids, right? Like, you think about the number of games that you would die as a kid, and it was like, start screen, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like the Square Enix, like, you're dead, you know, like...
Yeah, like, I remember Contra. That was a particularly painful...
Yeah. Contra was hard with 30 lives.
I know! God.
Like, you could still, and you'd be playing with some dickhead that's jumping too fast, and you're dying on the bottom of the screen.
Stop doing that!
Like, just jump at the same speed as me. Come on. Be a team player.
I know, it's really unfortunate. But like the thing about this game, like what I like about it is like they're making hard games accessible, like you're saying, right? Like hard games accessible, they're doing the style, but they're adding like 3D. So it's a slight, really nice mix of like the new stuff and the old stuff, and it's still approachable.
Do you ever turn the 3D on your 3DS?
I do basically one notch.
I have it off.
Really?
I have it off.
There's a couple of parts where it's actually important. There's a couple of games where they use it. You don't like it?
So have you heard of the new 3DS? They solved the angle problem?
Yes. Yeah, because that's annoying.
That would make me do it because I feel like I have a hard time finding the sweet spot. Like I don't want to hold it at exactly the 8.5 inches from my eyes, and I turn a little bit, whatever,
and it just fully screws up.
It screws up, and that's why I have it off. But I think with the new one, if I could just kind of dick around, and you know how they're doing it. I thought that they'd figured out a new technology that would allow anybody to look at it. It's tracking you.
Yeah.
So it's still only going to work for one person. You can't like show somebody else your 3DS.
Yes.
It's just going to be you, but it's going to be better.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, are you going to upgrade?
No.
Yeah, I'm just like...
Upgraded my brakes. Maybe.
Well, I did upgrade to the XL, but I just did that pretty recently.
I got the XL too.
Well, but I had the DS, the 3DS, and I'm just like... I saw the screen. I'm like, I really want that screen for some of the games, like Yoshi and a couple other ones. It's a nice screen.
It's a nice screen.
And now they come up with this one. I'm just like, I can't, because I never even sold my DSi or my 3DS.
Yeah.
So like, I just can't justify it.
So here's what's funny is I borrowed Pokemon DS, like the Japanese one.
You don't like Pokemon.
I hate it. But I wanted to try practicing my Japanese, right? So it's like it was like in Japanese, but it wouldn't work on the 3DS, but it worked on my DS. And I put it in, and I'm like looking at this fucking postage stamp screen. I'm like, I can't play like this. I can't play like an animal on a tiny little screen.
You know how many millions of people play on that screen?
Terrible.
Oh, you're the 3DS 1%, man.
I am the 1%. I am the one. Fuck you, Anonymous. Some dude out there with a little fucking...
Dude, I got a 3DS XL too. I'm not talking about.
These guys
together.
I know. I'm the 1% of gaming. I don't mind. I will take my big ass screen any day.
But dude, if they came out with 3DS XXL,
I don't know. At some point, you're carrying a laptop.
Wait,
I mean, it can only be so big before it gets ridiculous.
Hey, once they have an Oculus 3DS, like.
That'd be interesting.
Well, no, they actually. So I've seen people demoing it now. They actually have the 3DS with the HDMI output.
Wow.
And put that to an Oculus, and you can basically play the 3D part in 3D.
That's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited to try that.
I like that.
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight was great.
Yeah,
I definitely good. And it definitely rewards the more patient gamers. Like I definitely have been like playing it and putting it down, playing it and putting it down. Like it keeps bringing me back, but sometimes I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah,
but it's really good.
Actually, we're not talking about it, but like I was bouncing between that and SteamWorld Dig, and like every time I got annoyed with Shovel Knight, I'm like, SteamWorld Dig, and then I'd be like, fucking SteamWorld Dig, Shovel Knight. I'd be like this bouncing back between hate and hate.
Yeah, that's true.
But loving, it's weird.
Yeah,
so weird. So what's next? Oh, I didn't get to play this game. Man, I really wanted to.
South Park: Stick of Truth.
I think it's the only AAA game we've talked about.
I think it might be the only one. Like maybe Layton is kind of AAA-ish, I guess. But so South Park: Stick of Truth. It is. It's basically like 100% like playing through a fully fledged South Park episode. Like I was blown away by the detail. Like every scene moves just like the South Park show.
Nice.
All the voices are original voices. All the content is
the two guys.
It's the two guys. But I mean, they didn't like farm it out. They didn't do a bunch of bullshit. Like it feels like the whole time you're playing, you're like, oh, this is weird. Like this isn't just like they did one part really well.
Yeah.
It was like they'll do the ding 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 ding. Like like every time you'll do like a loading screen, it'll play like you're in an episode. And the kids. Oh, and there was a tie-in with the show. They did at the end of the last season. They did 3 Game of Thrones episodes, making fun of Game of Thrones. And at the very end of it, they're like making fun of it, and they're like, you're like, who would tile this shit together with like merchandising, blah blah, and they're like, and then it's like South Park, the signature, like, so I mean, the whole thing
is about that.
Is about that 3 episode arc.
Oh, so is it the exact same storyline?
It's a continuation.
Oh, gotcha.
So what happens is all the kids in South Park are playing.
That's genius.
It's brilliant. The way that they do it together is brilliant.
So you really should. You recommend watching the 3 episodes before you start? Is it how?
I actually watch them after.
Oh, okay.
So it's not critical, but basically the kids are all playing Dungeons and Dragons or Game of Thrones or whatever, and it really ties in well because then they're all fighting each other throughout the town. The adults are like, what the fuck, but then it starts to kind of affect the adults, and the Mongolian kids invaded the Chinese restaurant, and like you have to go and fight off the Mongolian.
You have to build the Great Wall or something like that.
Well, it's called like the Great Wall Chinese restaurant.
Yeah,
but like all the things will be like all the menu items. It'll be like Kung Pao beef. It's scratched out. It says Mongolian beef. And like you go beat up. You have to climb the tower and fight the Mongolian kids to defend the restaurant. But and like the whole thing is just kind of really nicely done, turn-based.
So it's kind of like is it kind of like Final Fantasy style?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But
how's the game part?
Great.
Really?
It's great. It's like I do not like turn-based gaming anymore, and I love this.
Really?
Yeah. Because it reminds me of the Mario.
Mario and Luigi
with the timing-based attacks.
Yep.
So it's
well, there's like the Dream Team.
It's just like Dream Team.
Okay.
So it's like
that's good. Those are awesome.
Those are really cool, and that's what keeps you interested. It's not just like fight. Spell this. It's like
is it active battle system?
It's active battle.
Oh, perfect. That's generally what I'm looking for now. If I ever do anything turn battle, it's like it's gotta be active.
Yep. It's active and it's reactive and it's timing based. It just keeps you very engaged and it's hilarious all the way through.
What did you play it on? Do you remember?
I played it on PC actually.
PC. Okay. I think I might try to get it on PC because you're definitely selling me on it.
It's so fun. Like and it's one of those like laugh out loud like they do.
The comedy, the level of
the caliber of and they did like all this great music, and they were just kind of able to do some ridiculous gaming tropes, right? Like one of the things that just sold me out, like 15 minutes in the game, you're in Cartman's backyard, and he's got all this stuff, and he's like, all right, Tobin, like, you get to type in your name, and you're like, what's your name? Whatever you type in, he's like, all right, shithead, like, I'm calling you shithead or whatever. But so he's like, okay, go over and do this mission, and you're supposed to leave the backyard and go do something else. And I walked around and I like looked at all the stuff in his backyard, and he's like, wow, you touched everything in my backyard. I guess you're a completist gamer. Like it's that sort of thing. Like
so they know
their audience, and they kind of do these little inside jokes that like they got that I'm like that compulsive. I'm gonna try everything, and they have fun with it. Like they just really do a nice job.
I'd be surprised because basically when I heard about it, I was just like, man, didn't they make a South Park racer? Or they like all the South Park? I don't remember.
This was like they went all in. They're like, we're gonna do a hardcore, really fun, solid game.
How long is it? Is it pretty? Is it like feel like a long game? Like 15 hours?
Like 10, 15 hours.
15 hours. That's not too bad. Because I don't have time for like 30-hour RPGs or 60-hour RPGs anymore.
You're too busy playing Ingress.
Yeah. I'm too busy walking and playing Ingress. I have no time otherwise.
But I highly, highly recommend South Park Signature.
I'm excited. And at this point, it should be pretty cheap, I think.
It should be.
On Steam.
Yeah. What's funny is I just realized this is very different than our old thing because we used to play every game that came out. So
we don't do that anymore.
But we would be given thumbs down, and now I realize we cherry picked the games that we enjoyed. Yeah, so we're not just being like, I tried this game and it blew ass.
Well, yeah, it's like we only have a certain amount of time in the 18-month time cycle that we actually do. It's like
because there were some games that I tried in the last couple of years, around the last year, and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, but it's just not.
It's not worth spending our time on. We're not going to tell you guys.
Well, we may have differing opinions on the next game, actually.
So contrast.
There's a bit of contrast in this game.
Yes, there's a game called Contrast.
So my understanding of this game was that this is the same game that was, I remember it was out on PS4, and it's like all about like shadow and puzzles, and it's got this weird sort of...
It's very noir-y, it's very like jazzy 30s.
Jazzy 30s. I can't really describe the art style, but it's kind of like that Frenchy kind of... Yeah. Art style.
It's like, noir.
I guess noir. You're right. It's got a lot of the dark shadows and all that.
But you're kind of like this flapper girl that can go between light and shadow. Like you can if there's a shadow on the wall, you can go from being 3D to being 2D in that wall, and then interact with the objects. Like you're standing on the shadows.
Yep. And there's a lot of puzzle elements around it where you're trying to like use shadow to either fill out scenes. I remember the short amount of time that I gave this game. I remember there was like a jazz scene that you had to do, and you had to go to all the spotlights and kind of like reflect so that you create the shadow of all the players.
Move them so that the shadows look different.
Exactly, right? And then at the end of it, then all the shadows came to life and started playing jazz, and I'm like, I get it. Tell me it gets more interesting.
It did get more interesting.
How?
There's some really fun. So it never gets hardcore. Like it's very much just like the puzzles were relatively simple in that you'd have to get things from A to B. Like there got to be these puzzles where say there'd be a box and you could pick up the box. And then you'd move a spotlight to a wall, and you could go over and you go into the shadow, and then drop the box, and then pop back out. And then if you move the spotlight, it'll move the box. The box is inside that, so you can kind of have these mechanics of like getting around the level.
Makes sense, okay.
And then sometimes you have to move stuff in the real world that would make shadows move. On the
there was
on the
a
wall.
lot of that. Like that's what didn't
you like?
Well,
about
I mean that's the thing. It's just like I get it. Like I've seen this sort of shadow-based gameplay now, and maybe that's part of it. Like remember there was that one Wii game that we saw like 2 or 3 years ago, where it was like on the shadow, and you had to keep. It was kind of side-scrolling. You had to keep going between different realms.
Oh yeah.
I forget the name of it, but it sucked. It was really cool. Or like you get it. I'm just like I get it. Okay, and then just got they didn't have any many tricks, right, to sort of keep it interesting.
It's like Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds was awesome.
I know.
What are you fucking talking about? Yeah, I know. I'm just like, I know exactly what you're doing. I'm not falling for that shit. But there's that. So there was that game. There was another game. I remember it was like Echo Chrome or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Which again was like it was pretty cool. But after like some hours, I was just like, I get it, right?
Yeah.
And like this game, like I guess maybe because like I only played for a short time, but like I played for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And I'm just like. It's just not getting any more interesting, and then, like the art style didn't sell me. It actually kind of pushed me away. I'm just like, I don't care. Like this whole world, like there's nothing interesting about this thing. Like jazz, I'm like, I hate jazz. So there was just so many elements to it. I'm just
what
like,
if it had been like a shoegaze themed?
Like it was like a ska, like checkers one. Yeah, people like skanking. That'd be freaking.
You could make like your icon like your old ska hair.
Yeah, I would be finished. I would have finished that game. That's the thing. I think theme, like for this kind of game, like theme is so important.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to sell you. I think it sounded like it resonated somewhat. With
it did.
You, right?
So I actually really liked it. Like I've been. Especially like after moving to DC, I've been kind of like tracking down like
listening to a lot of jazz.
I don't listen to a lot of jazz,
Okay.
but actually I do listen to some jazz, but not much. I like big band like New Orleans jazz.
Yeah, sure, that's good.
But like I like speakeasies and small quiet places and cocktails.
So you're in. Okay, I get it. So you're kind of like in the
I like the vibe of it.
Yeah,
I like the vibe of it, and I like that
sense.
there's kind of this interesting story where there's this girl. And you only see her parents in the shadows, right? And there's this thing where it's like
they're like fighting and stuff.
They're fighting, and like the father is like a magician, but he's a failed magician. And he wants like another chance from the mom, and you're actually like they'll have arguments on the walls where like they'll be sitting there fighting with each other, and you're like jumping on them while they're fighting to get to different points and stuff. So
and that also would push me away. I'm just like I don't want to see domestic. I'm just like what am I playing? Like this storyline is just painful.
It is. It's a little. I mean, it's a little awkward. It's a little weird.
Huh.
Like I wouldn't say this is the best game. Like it's one of those games where it's like I played through. I seriously did the game like all the way through. It was like 3 hours. Like it's
really.
It was
very the third of the game.
Yeah, you did. It's 3 acts. It's like Act 1, 2, and 3. And then what ends up happening is that the dad's like a failed magician, and he's trying to do these acts, and they're all falling apart in there. And so the girl's fixing them.
Oh, gotcha.
So the girl's going into like these like pirate ship mechanics, and like she's trying to like fix the shows the magician's putting on.
I didn't get to any of that part, so I think that's more interesting.
It is more interesting. I know what you're talking about because in the beginning, a lot of the stuff was kind of slow. Like all the thing with like moving the projector around and stuff on the wall.
Just, like, they're so fiddly.
It's boring.
Like I wasn't even feeling smart. I was feeling like this.
I know what
is
you
fuck you. Like this is that kind of game. But you're saying it gets a lot better. It gets more interesting.
Somewhat better.
You're selling this game.
I'm giving it one of these, right? Like where it's just like
I know what I'm giving it.
I liked it enough to beat it. I'm not saying it's the best game in the world. Sure. I mean, it's like if it's on sale for Steam for like less than $10, I think maybe less than $5. I think it's neat. It's a very atmospheric game, and it's hard for me to find games where I think the atmosphere is interesting. Yeah, and you didn't find it interesting at all.
No, well, I think they actively away.
You disliked it.
Yeah, and it just hit all my buttons. I mean, jazz, noir, domestic disturbances.
Damn.
Like nothing was entertaining.
You don't like the Maltese Falcon like.
Oh no, I love that. I mean, if it was like Casablanca, the video game, like hell, fucking yeah.
Okay, all right.
Or Maltese Falcon, the video game. Actually, I think they made one, didn't they?
No, did they?
I feel like they
I'll play the Maltese Falcon video game.
Wouldn't that be an awesome point-and-click adventure game?
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of like Sam and Max. Like Sam and Max was very noir-y.
It was, but it got really bad towards the end. But Telltale's been nailing it with some of their stuff. So the last game I also did not play. So Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
Yeah. So I am playing this. This literally came out like 3 days ago.
Oh, this is fresh.
Yeah. So it's very fresh. I got it for this flight coming out here today.
Okay, that's
like because I've got like the 6-hour flight out here is brutal. Like I need to kind of keep myself entertained.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of mobile games. If you notice, my list of games that I've been playing lately is just like Friday Night Monsters, Danganronpa, like all this stuff. It's like if it's Vita or 3DS, I am playing that shit.
Or iOS.
Or iOS.
Yeah.
So this is it's an interesting combination of Layton and Phoenix Wright, which is funny because I don't really like Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, I hate Phoenix Wright. Yeah, how do they mix it together? Because the puzzle parts of Layton are cool.
Yeah.
But then you go to courtroom after?
So it's kind of weird. So you start off and you're playing as Layton, and this girl shows up and she's like, "I'm from the land of Illusionania or whatever." Sure. I forget. It's like some fucking fantasy world, and like she had escaped from this fantasy world, and then the witches you have to fight these witches and they drag her back, and then Then the witches attack Layton. They drag him into the fantasy world. You see where this is going.
Yeah.
So then, like Phoenix Wright is in court and he's defending this girl who's being accused of being a witch.
Okay.
And then the witches drag him back.
Oh, why not?
So everybody is dragged back in this illusion world. And right now I'm wandering around as Layton inside this illusion world solving puzzles, which is the part I like.
Okay.
And then I'm sure what's going to happen is that
so they haven't even done the courtroom
scene. I did one courtroom scene.
Okay. Did you like it?
Did not like it.
Let's take something you love and something you hate and put them together.
I was really hoping that they'd done something kind of fun with Phoenix, but they genuinely just took these two games and
does the demographics really match? I mean, did Capcom go out and say,
Do you like it?
Do you like it? Oh, look, there's this Venn diagram where there's a lot of overlap between the two.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a great question because I feel like they don't. But maybe you and I aren't the right.
I think we're also like unusual because I think a lot of people like Phoenix Wright. At least I haven't found as many people that share our hatred of Phoenix Wright, which is kind of interesting.
I would say in the comments on YouTube, just if you're a person that likes both of them, just let us, just out of our personal curiosity.
Yeah, tell us why. Because they're completely different game styles and game modes, right? One's like kind of choose your own adventurous, but you don't visit anywhere.
Right.
Of putting fucking item on top of item. It's like, fuck.
So one's really bad, and then one's really good, and we like the one that's good.
Yeah.
So tell us why you like the one that's bad.
Why do you like the bad one? And why do you want to mar the good with the bad?
Yeah.
Like, I
know. It's like making like a poop milkshake.
Yeah.
Like, there's this delicious
with
chocolate
chocolate and poop. I don't
put some poop in.
Yeah.
No.
Don't do it.
But, I mean, I'm enjoying the Layton parts. Like,
so basically it's like...
it's like a roller coaster like this. And
dude, when you go down, you're not going to ever come back up. I don't think you're not going to force yourself.
I beat the first court case, but I was bored.
Yeah. Did you play the last Layton, the 3DS Layton?
The Miracle Master. Right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
I love Layton. I genuinely do. Like I've really gotten to the point now where I know what kind of puzzles I like. Like if it's the ones I don't like, I just hint coin the fuck out of it because I'm not going to sit there and get frustrated. I'll just hint it, and then like the ones that I like. I really like, and I'll go through and solve them.
So. Yeah, I actually skipped that one because, like, did they change it up at all? Like, I kind of the same sort of thing over and over again.
What they did is they kind of took out some of the bullshitty mechanics. Like they've kind of gone back to just more puzzly. Because for a while they were putting like 7 mini games inside of Layton where there's like
I hated, those
figure out the ways to drive cars, and then there's like there's just like lots of different mini games.
It feels like padding. I remember they started padding the fuck out of these games, and like it got really so they're starting to make it pure.
They're kind of pulling padding out. I haven't seen any padding yet in Layton and Phoenix. Except I would say the Phoenix Wright part is padding.
Maybe that's what they said. They said, these mini games aren't working.
Yeah.
But people love Phoenix Wright.
People just love it.
Let's just put them all in this magical land.
Courtroom drama.
Yeah, dude.
What is more exciting than that?
I don't know what's up with Capcom these days. They're really not. They're kind of have a lot of hits and misses. You know what I mean?
What else are they doing? Like I don't even know. Like I feel like. Are they still releasing another Street Fighter?
They did. They just did, right? A new one. I'm just like, really? Like, when are they going to go to super ultra remix, whatever. And when it was funny, I said that, and then later they came out with Dead Rising Super Ultra Fighting Remix, where they have the Street Fighter characters in Dead Rising.
Come on.
And I'm just like, it's DLC, but I'm just like, I get it.
It's just blood from a stone.
Yeah, man. Well, I think all the good people are leaving, right? Like all the guys, they went to like Platinum and Clover, and then went to Platinum. Yeah. What is it? The Mega Man guy.
He left. That's right.
Yeah, and he's doing the Kickstarter for Mighty Number 9, and I think some other game that just came out. You're a gun. Is it Gunvolt? Does that sound right?
That sounds familiar.
I think I have to double check, but I think there's another game that came out. So there's like everyone leaving Capcom, so I'm a little worried for those guys.
Yeah. Well, nowadays people can start a studio with 4 people, right? Like you can go out and kickstart stuff, and you can go out and
the number of Kickstarters I've done is like kind of scary. How many games have you kickstarted? Have you done any?
4.
Which ones?
Now I'm gonna blank on them. I did the Cyberpunk. Shadowrun.
That was a bad idea.
That was not good.
Don't play that game.
Don't play it. It was really bad.
That one.
There was an alternate reality game that hasn't shipped yet.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones. And I did the Tim Schafer one.
How was that?
It was good. It was good.
Okay. Broken Age, right?
Broken Age. It was okay.
It was okay.
Okay. It was okay.
So I've done Planetary Annihilation, the guys that did Supreme Commander. So that is coming out today. No, wait, it's coming out this Friday.
Wow.
So that's coming out soon. I think it's coming out this Friday. And then which one? What's that one? Pillars of Eternity. Remember the old Baldur's Gate?
Yeah.
All those guys.
They did
are making a new.
Is it like an isometric?
Yes. Yeah, and apparently I think they got some of the guys from what's that Planescape Tournament? I never read that one. I never played that one.
That was good.
They have some of those guys.
Planescape Tournament was good back in the day.
Yeah, so it's like all those guys like making a super team.
Wow,
and making
it's a super group.
Old style Baldur's Gate. I'm just
it's like
wings. Yeah. I hope not. God. I mean, sometimes it happens. Yeah,
that's cool. Like I honestly. I do so much Kickstarter stuff.
I know.
It's kind of ridiculous. Like I just kickstarted like this thing for making sauerkraut at home the other day.
What?
It's called Crowdsource.
Why?
Because it's cool. I like making sauerkraut.
I guess so.
I like sauerkraut. You do it with mason jars. I don't know.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of board game ones lately, and like, you know what I was hoping? We were talking about the other day, but like, imagine if they made a Chrono Trigger. Kickstarter, because like basically they said they wouldn't make it. Square Enix would not make a sequel. Well, they kind of made a sequel. But they never did. It's just like, can you imagine the love and how much money if that guy just said, "Fuck you, I'm making Bono bigger, right?" And making some other style game
that's clearly in the same style.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of opportunity.
It's true. I mean, like there's a lot of people that have enough name recognition that they could kind of leave the gaming world and just get $1 billion to go do new stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one? Who's the guy that does all that work with Tim Schafer? Wasn't the?
Which other? He did the Pant. Oh fuck! What am I black? God, I haven't been out of the game for a while.
We're so rusty.
I know. We usually like
drop them. I know we got the shit on the tip. But the point is, he went off and did that kind of comical game. With
I know. I'm trying to think of the name.
But I don't remember if that wasn't a Kickstarter. Deathspank. But that was actually a studio game, wasn't it?
It was a studio game. But he did it. I thought he just did a Kickstarter.
I think he did a Kickstarter. I don't know what it was.
I should look it up.
Isn't this interesting?
I know.
Watching 2 old men trying to figure out the fuck they're thinking about.
We have the internet right here, but we can't interrupt.
We're not going to sit here and Google, guys.
No.
You know why? Because YouTube's one take. That's why. We're not going to sit here. We're not going to pause this shit and go figure it out. You're just going to tell us in the comments all the dumb shit we forgot.
Exactly. Because we're not going to look smart. We're going to look dumb for you guys.
We're heroes.
That's right. Because people are going to be like, why can't they name Ron Gilbert? That's his name. They'll be like, I know Ron Gilbert. How can they?
And we got Deathspank. We figured it out.
Yeah, it takes some time.
Beer can't stop us.
No. Oh, wait.
Water.
And Ellie. Oh, we did look that up.
We did have to look that up. That was going to drive me crazy.
I know. I got close though. Eddie. You said Evie.
You did.
Evie. So games we're excited about. Let's cover those.
Yeah. So there's a couple upcoming games. It's funny. Like we've been looking at the list of upcoming games. It's not as big as I would have thought it would.
Not for this year.
Like, the problem is a lot of the games that we get into, I feel like are games that kind of come up with like a month or two notice, like kind of more indie games, surprising sleeper games. Like the only games that you'll know about a year in advance are the big ones.
Yeah,
which is cool. I mean, we like some big ones too, but it's like you're not going to know about like what cool indie game is coming out in 12 months. You're only going to know when it gets. I mean, like. Stanley's Parable or whatever, like, these things come out, they just kind of drop on the game store.
Usually there's buzz building, it kind of grows, you look at Reddit, you look at a couple of places, you start saying, like, man, I heard that game 3 times. I gotta check it out.
That's why I checked out Stanley Parable.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw it come up on Reddit/gaming like a bunch of times.
I'm just like, maybe we should check this out.
Yeah.
And then but there's a few big games that we know. So when I went to PAX, the big game, and we'll talk a little bit more about PAX later, but the big game on everyone's list was Evolve.
Yeah, you showed me Evolve. Like we were watching some gameplay footage before this. So tell me about the concept.
Yeah, so this was basically done by the Turok Studio, so the guys that did Left 4 Dead. So you kind of know where they're already going for it. So it's like they took the big Hulk brute zombie where you had 4 people fighting that and just went buck wild on the game mechanics. So now there's this huge freaking monster that one person plays called the Goliath. Right, and then there's 4 hunters, all with different special abilities. One is the tracker, who can track where it goes and lay traps. An assault character who can tank. A healer who can heal guys, and a support who can put a shield on stuff and do all the stuff. And it's 4 against 1.
Which is so funny because it's totally like Left 4 Dead on crack. Like you can see exactly what they're doing. Where it's like with Left 4 Dead they played around with the mechanic of letting you control the zombies and attack the humans. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, well, what if there was just one mega monster, one like big fucking Godzilla, and 4 people try to bring them down with all their different various abilities? Yep. Because when you were showing me the gameplay mechanics, like I was watching it and all these guys were attacking this monster and it was really cool, but I'm like, man, that monster's fucking smart. Like that monster's like going up, and I was like, can humans play the monster? You're like, yeah, humans are playing that monster.
That's the whole point, man.
And that's what just brings it. And you can evolve as the monster. They call the game Evolve. You can evolve twice, and I guess you probably have to eat enough monsters or cause enough damage.
There's enough thing that you do, but then each evolution, so the guys are trying to prevent them from evolving. So there's all these different sort of strategies. Like basically, I think some maps are designed where there's kind of a central thing, which the monster's either trying to destroy or something like that, and then there's outskirts, and the outskirts has all these extra monsters.
Yeah.
Right? And then the big monster can eat them to help evolve and heal up. Yeah. The other guys can get killed by them, so they have to they're like the zombies, right? Yeah. So they can go out and clear, or they can bunker up, and just the sheer number of strategies is crazy.
It was really neat. I mean, if you go out there and look at some of the gameplay videos for Evolve, it looks really, really interesting. And the cool thing about it is this is one of those games where once people understand the mechanics, they can just release new monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just a constant evolution where they can just kind of keep dropping in new things, keep dropping in new mechanics, maybe new weapons, whatever. Like this would have a lot of replay value.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping also the esports scene starts to sort of follow this thing, because a lot of the videos that I saw, they actually had announcers talking about it, and that's what hooked me. Right, I was sitting in PAX, and basically they had this huge video screen, and millions of people walking across. I was sitting there for 20 minutes just watching one video after the other. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about how oh look, he's going over here. Oh, he's going. Oh my god. And they're just going crazy with the announcements.
The one that you were showing me, it felt to me like one of those things where I was watching, I'm like, oh my god, I care as much about this as other people care about sport.
I know.
Because I don't watch.
You don't watch any speech?
I don't watch the StarCraft videos. I don't watch the Dota stuff. I don't watch the what's that other game? The Riot Studios.
League of Legends.
League of Legends. Yeah. I don't watch those because I don't give a fuck. I really don't care about those games. But this is one of those things where I'm like, oh my god, I could see sitting down and being like,
some beer. And
just get a beer and I would watch this like a sport because the excitement that people have watching the Redskins play the Bears, this is one of those things where it's there could be these guys that are really good hunters, and there's this guy that's really well known as being the monster or whatever, and watching where it's just the guy got the great vantage point above him, they didn't see him, he jumps down, just attacks him, and the announcers, you're right, they bring it to life.
So good, yeah.
They give you the context about why that strategy is important.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
And they're explaining everything, and just I can totally imagine, because I've been watching some esports stuff, mostly Hearthstone. And no, but you'd be surprised. You think, right? It's play card, right? But no, they're oh, what? Because they know exactly what cards they have. Well, you can play this, and this could happen. Oh, you can play this.
It's watching blackjack when they're saying
But I don't care about blackjack. I'm just oh fuck yeah, oh yeah, and I'm just yelling at the screen. I'm just this must be what sports are like.
Yeah, to other people that like sports. Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's true. And just even I was watching that 10-minute video with you, and I was just I get it. I can see why people would get really into this.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful. Now Twitch is just going to become ESPN, right?
Yeah.
And it's just going to be I'm gonna turn into that guy, which I never thought I would turn into. I'm going to be painting my face.
You come to work. Yo, did you catch that Evolve match last night?
Oh my fucking god! Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, our company did buy Twitch.
That's true.
So,
I want the foam claw. Roar! That's awesome.
War number.
Oh, you laugh, dude. And
we're gonna do it. We're gonna be texting each other in the middle of the night and be like, dude, that match is on.
Oh, no, better yet, we're gonna be on Facebook and just like, did you see that fucking shit? People are like, what game is on?
You're like, I'm unfollowing these nerds. God damn it. But yeah, so Evolve looks fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna get. You know,
February.
Okay.
February. Hopefully they'll have more demos or something else. I'm really excited. It looks pretty polished.
Another awesome looking game.
Oh, dude.
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. So Insomniac. Yeah. They're doing new IP. I was surprised. They've been doing Ratchet for years.
Forever. And what's cool about Ratchet is Ratchet had this thing where it was like my favorite franchise. They released one or two poopy ones, and then the last Ratchet they came out with was actually very good.
Which is the last one that just came out?
I don't remember. It was like a $14 one. It was like a quick one. It was like
it wasn't the full game.
It wasn't the full one.
Okay, gotcha. But PS3 though.
Yeah, it was PS3. But I forget what it was called.
Yeah.
But they kind of found their groove again. I think that they stopped doing like planet exploration. They were for a while trying to copy Mario Galaxy. They went back to their roots. And they're like big, awesome weapons, super detailed, colorful, very cartoony, vibrant worlds.
Yeah.
And it's a blast. And it's like a lot of like rail sliding, all this other stuff. You can see the Insomniac influence if you look at some videos of Sunset Overdrive. It's like super like hyper Ratchet plus Jet Set Radio Future. Plus,
it feels like there's Crackdown elements of this,
for sure.
It feels very open world. I have to confirm, but it feels like they're just going around. The view distance is really crazy. There's just lots of these crazy mutant guys, but and I haven't figured out like what you're supposed to do. If you just go around killing people, if there's objectives, but it just looks a blast.
Yeah.
I think especially if you like Jet Set Radio, it seems like there's a lot of grinding.
There is. There was a lot of like sliding on rails, which it looked like, but there was a lot of like the really cartoony Ratchet and Clanky weapons, which I thought was very cool. But I mean, from the video that you and I were watching, it was actually really hard to tell how they do objectives because it was kind of like what was that zombie game you liked where you kept assembling different weapons?
Dead Rising.
So it was kind of like this Dead Rising thing where it's like just kind of wandering and killing and like. I think that I'll get really into it, but I definitely want some objectives.
Yeah,
I definitely want there to
rescue
be
someone, or something.
Because I mean, Crackdown was really good for that, where it's like you could dick around all you wanted and power up your jumping and find the orbs. And you and I were upset. You guys go back to like episode 40 or some shit.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
We were so obsessed with Crackdown for a while. We were just like collecting orbs like crazy. But if they do that, where you can either wander or do objectives, which. Insomniac's really good at.
Yeah, I think they're going to nail the open world aspects. They're going to nail that. I'm just kind of more curious about like will the mechanics work? Because like Ratchet is just so ingrained in everything. And didn't they do that? What other series they did?
Jack and Daxter.
Wait, didn't they do Resistance? Is that them?
Was that them?
Oh, I forget. I get confused sometimes between
You're right. They did something.
Insomniac. But they did something that wasn't Ratchet that was real. I think it was Resistance.
I think you're right. I think you might be right.
So they did that, and that was. It was
their like flagship PS3 trying to show off the graphics in the PS3
and not be like all cartoony and all that. But this one, I think they're going back more to the roots where it's not super serious, but it's not Ratchet anymore. But it's like Ratchet for adults.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it looks exactly. I mean, it looks like I'll still play. I'm sure that they've got a Ratchet and Clank PS4 exclusive coming up soon.
Probably, yeah.
But I will totally play this because this is definitely like it's got that Jet Set feel to it. Like they had like kind of like the rock and roll soundtrack and everything's all kind of like crazy. Like I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure that out. I don't know if it's a Xbox exclusive. I know when I saw it at PAX, it was only at the Xbox booth, not the Sony booth. Which would be really weird.
That would be
considering
weird.
How strong Insomniac is with that.
Yeah.
But there's been like some defections, right, going back and forth in a lot of places these days. So nobody has any loyalty anymore.
It is weird. I mean, like even things like Super Time Force and stuff came out as an Xbox Live exclusive, and then like they're like a month later they're like we're on Steam now.
Yeah, do you think Time's exclusive has any value anymore at this point? Because like I mean maybe it's just me, but I don't buy games on launch anymore. I'm just like whatever.
Yeah. I don't tend to buy consoles for their exclusives either.
You don't tend to buy consoles.
I don't buy consoles.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. You want to go through a couple more? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So next one up. Definitely Sunset Overdrive. Super excited about it. Bayonetta 2. Oh my god.
The Electric Boogaloo.
Dude, so I was waiting at PAX, like in line for like 40 minutes, man. It was like a really long line. It was like it was short. So there's only 3 stations, like way by an escalator.
Yeah.
But then there was a thing, but the demo each demo was 15 minutes. So that was.
Did you get to play?
Oh yeah, I got to play. So I got to play, and it's just
how was it?
It's awesome. Yeah, I was surprised at actually how good it looked considering it was on the Wii U.
Is it Wii U exclusive?
Wii U exclusive?
What?
Well, they basically... What? Well, they said that nobody wanted to build... Like, Sega didn't want them to build another one. They didn't want to pay for it. So they're like, well, Bayonetta, no Bayonetta 2. And then Nintendo came along and said, make it.
That is so weird.
Yeah,
that is a weird console that a Bayonetta exclusive.
And like I'm looking at it, and there's like you know freaking Bayonetta, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's like lots of just random poses and lots of random things. Just like this is a Nintendo game, huh?
It's very risque.
A little risque, yeah. They got rid of the Sarah Palin hair.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's a little more short.
She's not as relevant.
No, not unfortunately. But yeah, no, it's basically pure platinum. Like you remember Vanquish, you remember Bayonetta, you remember all the crazy games they did. Yeah. They amped up everything.
Yeah.
Like like now, she's got wings. Like okay, she's flying now. Cool.
What did you get to battle? Was there any like super mega bosses?
Yeah.
So before it'd be like archangels coming in and fucking everything exploding and flying around.
All that and more like different
gun boots.
She's
always shooting with her foot.
Let's just say that every single monster, I'm just like, yep, that's right. It's just like, okay, I get it. Yep, yeah, okay, just keep throwing at me. I just no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Random crocodile with a wig on. It's like, okay, sure. What? Why not? Let's just do that. This is just random ass shit. Everything's random. It's purely random.
Honestly, like, I mean, you and I like Bayonetta so much that it's just like,
dude,
we're going to get the next one.
Bayonetta 2 comes with Bayonetta 1.
Really?
Remastered.
Really? Did you have a Wii U?
Yes. Well, I got it for Super Mario. I mean, I had it, well, actually, I got it at launch, but then I didn't play shit on it until Pikmin came out. And then I played shit on it.
How many games have you played on your Wii U? 2? Is it Mario and Pikmin?
Are we gonna go there? Are we gonna go there now?
We can go there. I don't care.
No, let's hold on. There's a couple more, but
so we skip Uncharted 4. Yeah, Uncharted 4 is like really far out. Obviously, I'm gonna buy it at launch.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably you are too.
I will. I won't finish it, but
you can borrow my copy. When I come out here, I'll just hand you games. I'll just hand you games.
Well, I told you, like, I think each Uncharted game I got to like between 75 and 95%. Like Uncharted 2. I got to the point where you're running out. Right? And I'm just like, oh, let me see. Because it was like 3 a.m. and I saved. And then I don't know what fucking happened, but I just never went back. And I'm just like, I don't want to start over.
Yeah. I understand that. I just don't understand not finishing these games. But,
I know.
But so Far Cry 4.
Oh, yeah.
So Far Cry 3 was probably one of my favorite games. Was it?
It was
a
really
2013
good.
game?
We did talk about it, I think, during an episode.
Okay.
It was a really good one.
Because it was so good. Like, it was just... The whole exploring the world and like having all these funny side missions of like killing a bear in order to get a better bandolier of grenades, but then also being able to like sit back on a hillside and see an enemy camp where they had like a tiger in a cage. You could sniper the lock, and like apparently they're just doing all this turn to 11. They're saying that Far Cry 4 is just off the hook.
Well, one of my favorite parts of Far Cry 3 was the villain. He was just, I don't know if it was just the voice acting or what, but I was just like, nobody has done this kind of fucked up villain before.
The malicious, crazy,
yeah. And it was just, I just was sold. I'm just like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And I just kept, in all the other parts too. So this one, they have another kind of crazy villain.
Yeah.
I think he's on the cover. But for the most part, like, what are they doing different? Do you know anything specifics? Or?
I don't know the specifics. I'm already sold because it's Far Cry 4. Like, I
played it.
Son of a bitch.
Well, it's funny. I was just walking by the Ubisoft booth. I was just like, what game is this? I'm just like, just some random thing. I started playing. I'm like, what game is this? Far Cry 4. I'm like, Far Cry 4. I'm like, oh,
I'm playing that now.
And it's just...
the world's supposed to be bigger, more beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. Like PS4... Because basically, the whole thing was you were outside of a sort of an encampment.
Yeah.
And they didn't give you anything. So I was just like, I'm going to go to the encampment and kill people. So then, you go through the front door. I died. I was like, I won't go through the front door. Now, and there's just all these other ways to go. Yeah. There's silent kills. And it's like, it just feels right. You know what I mean? So
the whole Far Cry mechanic has always been putting you a little bit out of your comfort zone. You're supposed to be a guy that's ended up in a place that he's not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Like was it Far Cry 2 where you had like malaria and like you're like staggering around, or like you'll always just kind of like be off your guard a little bit, and you kind of get your sea legs and then become this killing machine.
Yeah.
And it's always a really fun growth mechanic.
Yeah, they did that especially well in 3. Like you were just some random bro and like you didn't suck, right?
You're getting your little fucking tribal tattoos to power up, like you got Broseph Stalin on your forearm, like It's funny though, because he does. He goes from a bro to like kind of changing the lives of the people on the island,
and you can see it like in the character. Like the thing about Ubisoft, they do such a great job with the storyline. I'm super excited. I think this is a good buy at launch. Like there's just no question.
Yeah, me too. And that's this November. That's 2 months from now. So finally, we're talking about one of these games that's actually in the realistic horizon.
Yeah, actually, Bayonetta 2 is October.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so I'm super excited.
All I have to do is buy a Wii U.
Are you gonna? Let's go there.
All right, let's go there.
Okay, so so we're going to talk about some of the topics that people have had questions on.
Yeah.
So one of the first one was about the current gen console, like what we thought, right? So let me tell my story a little bit.
Yeah.
So I bought each console at launch. So I bought the Xbox One at launch, the PS4 at launch, the Wii U at launch.
Damn.
I was just like, once they announced it, I immediately put my pre-order in.
Wow.
And I'm just like, if I don't want it, I'll cancel my pre-order. And I never canceled it, so it just came. And you know fucking what? Like, I regret every single decision.
Isn't that weird? That's very unlike the last gen.
I know, but like the launch titles, like let me just go through it. Like for Xbox One, I was just like, oh man, Dead Rising 3, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
That's the launch title I'm going to play. I played it. I'm like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
but visually, did you feel like you were playing?
No, that's the thing that fucking pissed me off.
That's the thing.
Because get this, I was playing Xbox, Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty and Ghosts, and I don't even go there, but it's not as good. But I was playing on 360, and I was playing it, and I was like, I'm gonna keep playing because I kind of like it. But then the Xbox One came out, and I'm like, well, I guess I better spend $60 and get the Xbox One version because I'm getting it, right? So I bought it. And I started playing it, I'm like, I'm not noticing a difference.
It looked the same as Xbox 360.
Obviously, if I did side by side, it's better. But I didn't feel transported to.
Yeah, you're not like holy shit, like because that's the thing is like when we went from like the Xbox to the 360, you're like, my god,
holy god, that was huge.
And the launch titles on the 360 ended up being about 1/3 the quality of the ones that came out several years later.
Do you remember Cameo?
I do remember Cameo. Turning a little spiky ball, and we were blown away though.
I know, it was.
It's really like you go back and look at it now, and it looks like a child made it.
Yeah, looks like you play on the Wii.
But it wouldn't have played on the Xbox.
Oh hell no!
Because it was beautiful, and that's the thing is like we've all been kind of trained to think the next gen should just blow your hair back.
Yep.
And I haven't really been hearing that about this one. Like they focused on making it a media center, and they focused on.
They did. That's exactly right. It's just like, and the thing that blows my mind is that they didn't get the exclusives. Mm-hmm. They didn't get the line up developers to do their best shit.
Right.
Because really the best stuff is coming out kind of now.
Yeah.
For the most part, because they're remastering everything. I'm just like, everybody screwed it up. Wii U. I didn't play anything until Pikmin.
What was the launch title? Was Mario?
They had the Super Mario U, which I was like, I didn't like the last one, so I was like, yeah, screw that.
Wow.
So like, I was trying lots of just random stuff, like the stuff that came with it, the archery stuff, and like that was in a day. Yeah. And then it just sat there, and I got Pikmin, I played that, and then it sat there, and I got Super Mario, and I played that, and it sat there.
Yeah.
So like, I don't. So tell me your story.
My story is I haven't bought the Xbox One, I haven't bought the PS4, and I haven't bought the Wii U.
Wow.
I haven't invested in a single, I have the Vita, and I've got the 3DS, and I play the shit out of those.
And those are good at this point.
Those are pretty solid platforms now. But and I play a lot of PC games, and I've been getting I get my fix on new high quality games on PC. Yep. And I'll probably be able to play Far Cry 4, and I'll probably be able to play a lot of these other ones.
Did you have a decent gaming PC now?
It's good enough.
Really?
I mean, it plays everything in 1680, right?
That's enough. 1080p is kind of what you.
That's all I want. So I mean, it does the job. And I've never yet had to play a game where I brought down the settings for performance. Yes, I mean it's a hostage from my last company.
Well, I see.
But anyway, but
you bring up a huge point though. I think you really do. Because look, right? Look at before, right? 360 and PS3, and I've seen the graphs. You see when those things came out and where PC technology was, it was better.
Yeah.
There was a gap.
Yep.
And honestly, the PC eventually, about a year and a half later, it kind of crossed it and kind of did it.
Right.
Xbox One and PS4 came out lower than the top-end PC.
Which is weird.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Because, they can build, 8-core, dedicated, processing. It just doesn't make any sense to me that it wouldn't... it costs as much as the top end graphics cards. It should have that processing power to it.
It probably does for that processor, but the thing is you can spend $1,000, you can spend $1,500, stick 2 or 3 of top end video cards in it, and you're blowing away the current gen.
Yeah.
And the expectation is these consoles need to last until 2018.
Yeah.
week-ish minimum.
That's what they're saying.
And imagine PCs in 2018.
Oh my god,
dude!
Especially with your Oculus Rift and
I
shit.
know.
I mean, like, the PC is on this like launch curve where I've been able to scratch all of my itches so far with my PC. And like we look at some of these upcoming games, I bet Evolve will be on the PC, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Sunset Overdrive, that sounds like it'll probably be on the PC. Bayonetta will probably be exclusive on the Wii U.
Yep.
Uncharted will obviously be exclusive on the PS4.
Yeah. So you will have to buy it.
I will have to buy it at some point. I probably will only buy the PS4. I'll probably never buy the Wii U. I'll probably never buy the Xbox One.
So even a Zelda, like when nothing would take you to
Ooh, that might.
Because Bayonetta's not doing it, right?
I don't know. The last Zelda song.
Did you play Skyward Sword? I never played Skyward Sword.
I really wanted to like it. I like the Zelda on the 3DS better than
it's
Skyward
awesome.
Sword. It was amazing.
It's really good.
Like Link to the Past was. I could not put it down. It was just. It was unbelievable. And like it was just like like walking between the worlds and the flattening and like all that stuff. But like.
It wouldn't do it, huh? Because New Super Mario's is out, so at least there's that, and you like Galaxy, and this one's...
I love Galaxy.
This one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Super Mario 3D World. And then Bayonetta, but not enough, huh?
Maybe.
Not to guarantee it.
It hasn't guaranteed it, right? Like
so Uncharted is the only guarantee for you to buy a next-gen console.
Wow. And, or if they gave me like a new Yakuza, I would do it for that. I would do it for Uncharted. I'd do it for Ratchet and Clank exclusive.
Okay.
Like there's a handful.
So it's PS4. That's the only thing.
It's PS4. I mean, like, and even if there's like, I mean, all those things are kind of Sony exclusives, right? Mm-hmm. There'll probably be like another Last of Us maybe game that might.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That'll probably be Sony exclusive.
Yep.
Like I think that I'm going to be a PS4 whore.
I don't blame you because I mean, if I was to get a console today, right? Like I think Wii U is gonna get hits at some point. I'm definitely like the fact that I can get a Bayonetta, but I could have done without.
Yeah.
Right? There's only like 3 or 4 games, right?
Yeah.
Xbox One and PS4. PS4 is better.
Yeah.
Right. It's just more powerful. It's all that, and it's like $60. I don't care.
Yeah.
For the most part, right? So it's like PS4.
Also, I'm a PlayStation Plus member now. And
yeah.
I've actually really been enjoying PlayStation Plus because I'll be getting all these free games on my PS3. I get free games on my Vita, and like I really kind of enjoyed that. Like actually, this was a shit month for that. Like I was furious in August when it came out. Like I shit you not, it was like
Dishonored last month. Oh, no, that was on Xbox.
No, it was like Fez. And like Metrico, which was horrible.
Oh, it was bad.
It was not good. And there was one other one, but it was just like all these things. I'm like old, or crappy. Like although my Vita did make me finally go back and beat Limbo.
Oh, good.
I had not beaten Limbo. I got the free version, and
you were stepping up.
It was so good. I was like, I went through and I beat Limbo, and I'm like, how did I not beat this the first time? I don't understand.
I don't remember how far I got.
The game was like 4 hours long. Like it was super short, but it was just beautiful and perfect all the way through.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so basically your ETA.
I become a PC gamer.
That's so hilarious.
Which is funny because we both kind of abandoned the PC for a while.
Yeah.
You and I were like console whores.
Yep.
And now I've kind of like drifted to mobile and PC whore. And not console, which is so weird for me.
We reverted back to the PC Master Race. I mean, at this point, like I just bought a 7080 GT, right? So I had to for the Oculus.
Yeah.
Right. So I bought it, and then I played Tomb Raider, and I'm like,
oh, you played Tomb Raider on PC?
On the PC, I'm just like,
fuck.
This is a year and a half old game. I'm like, I'm not going to get the remastered edition on Xbox One because this is amazing, right?
And you can crank it as nice as you want.
Dude, I'm cranking it at like 14. It's like ridiculous how amazing this looks, right? So like, I'm going to do that. I'm like, well, Steam first, and they do sales, right? And they do all of that things if you just look. So just like at this point now, which is hilarious to say, PC first. If it's console exclusive, it's going to be PS4.
Yeah.
Which I think complete opposite of what the past 3 years of Noobtoob have been.
Oh my god, if you watch us from the beginning, like on Noobtoob, it's like we loved the Wii. We were obsessed with Xbox achievements and Xbox points. Like our Xbox gamer score is all we talked about for the first like 2 years of the show.
It was, yeah.
Like if you watch the curve, like it's been this kind of like up and down, and like now we've both kind of completely wandered away from the Xbox and the Nintendo side.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not the Nintendo side, I'm just on the console. The 3DS is still awesome.
I love the 3DS.
It's an interesting story about the next gen consoles, but I guess you're just going to do PS4 at this point.
I think I really am.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shock. Dude.
It's weird.
That's a shock.
It's weird. I mean, I'm not saying never, but it's just nothing sold me yet. So
gotcha. Another question from the show is talking about gaming habits, right? So basically, we did a show for 6 years, 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Playing almost up on average 5 games a week.
Every week for 5 years. It was amazing. It was like a part-time job. It was an awesome job. We loved every minute of it.
But man, like we were in a mode, right?
Yeah.
We would be like, "What are you playing? What do you got? What do you got? Are you going to cover this one? Are you going to cover that?
Yeah.
And then we stopped.
Yeah. And it kind of changed things, right? I mean, like you obviously have an awesome family. Like you
2 kids.
2 kids.
Yeah.
I have been, doing a whole lot of travel.
Yeah.
Like I've been traveling all over the place. I've got a wonderful girlfriend. We've been going all over the world doing stuff. Like I've been studying Japanese still.
Yep.
Doing a lot of work.
Work is very busy.
And it's like, we both obviously still make a lot of time for gaming in like the off hours, the late night hours, whatever. And I get a lot when I travel. I get a lot of gaming in when I travel.
Did you bring a console with you or anything like
I just always mobile.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But it's definitely like what'll happen for me is I'll pick up something like, I won't play for like, I won't game like for like a month.
No,
And then I'll get like South Park Stick of Truth. And I'll be like, hey Teresa, I'll see you in like 3 days. Or like I'll just tell us, like we'll go out for dinner, we'll do something together. I'm like, I'm gonna go in my office for 4 hours and shit's getting real. Like I'm gonna be playing some games.
But it's really like for 3 hours now blocks, not like 8, 12 hours that you used to do.
Yeah,
Right?
I used to have these things where it's like a weekend would come up and be like, "What did you do this weekend?" It's like I played 20 hours. I played 20 hours of this game.
Yeah, and it's like for me, like with kids, like basically, they don't go down and all that stuff. I'm like around 10 or 11.
Yeah,
I might do a little work, and then like I'll have a sliver of half an hour to an hour. I'm just like, what do I spend it on, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm spending time. I'm just like, I can play a round of Hearthstone. I could walk across the street. I can portal.
I could put my bathrobe over my pajamas and walk down the street like a crazy person.
Exactly, a crazy gamer. But it's really all these like bite-sized chunks. So like I'm paying a ton of stuff on my phone, on my tablet. I'm still not doing a lot of 3DS or Vita. I only do that when I travel. And I travel like maybe once a quarter.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll be able to like knock out 1 or 2 games during that time. But that's pretty much it. So big ass games, I'm just like, I'm taking enough time off work. So what I do is, and I have to, right? I basically say I'm going to take a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Friday off. Kids go to daycare. I drop them off and say, bye kids.
Yeah.
And then from 8 to 5 until my wife comes home.
That's awesome though.
But that's the only way I can play.
But you gotta take a vacation.
Really, for my salary, how much I'm paying to play a game for 8 hours,
funny.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But it's the reality at this point. Until what I'm really hoping for, my kids are starting to get into games.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be able to start playing games with him. Like we're doing Candy Crush together.
That's gonna be huge.
Angry Birds and some other stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, once they get you to be like, once they get you in Yuji to be my wingman.
Yeah. Oh, you imagine like sitting down playing Evolve, and you got your 2 kids there like wrecking shit. Like that's gonna be the dream.
It's gonna be like Team Watanabe, dude. We're gonna wreck shit in about 8 years, I think, more or less.
But imagine how cool games are gonna be in 8 years, dude.
Oh god, we're all gonna be in goggles.
Oh, you're all gonna be in goggles.
We're gonna be like, Mom, get us some drinks. I'm like this. I'm like.
It's really that South Park where like your wife's like changing the little little shit pots.
No, we'll have catheters. It'll be nice and neat. But have little tubes and all that.
Yeah.
So that's
the scary, fucked up future we have ahead of us.
That's
but I mean, we're gamers for life, right?
That's
like whether we squeeze it in on planes or in the bathroom or take a day off work or whatever. I mean, it's just like gaming changes as you change, and
as you get older. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what you have to look forward to when you start getting careers and families. Like
on the plus side, affording games is a lot easier as you get older.
It is. But what sucks is you can afford them, but you can't play them. So it's completely opposite as when we were
But
kids.
then we're going to be in retirement homes and be like 80.
Oh god!
We have nothing but time.
Dude, I knew a guy when I was in my 20s. It was the dad of one of our mutual friends.
Yeah.
And he was retired, and that fucker would be playing EverQuest 24/7 or just some Warcraft for 24. That's all he did.
Wow.
And I'm like, I want to be you when I grow up. Because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, that's true.
You still got your facilities at 65.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty much it. I mean,
I think so.
We just
anything about
covered
PAX?
everything else.
Anything about PAX you're interested in? I mean,
you told me all the badass games. Like, I'm definitely going to try and make it out for PAX next year. I'll plan ahead. Yeah. And the cool thing is, I come out here once a month for Amazon, so I'll definitely make it a point to come out for that. But just the experience of being on the floor, was it awesome to be back? It's got to be such a nice.
It was really awesome.
It's magical.
But the thing is, what I miss is just that, when we had a crew, when we had the drinking, whatever like that. It's just now with the tickets selling out so quickly,
it's harder for people to get in.
Nobody comes. So that's kind of sad. But at the other end, I mean, the games are still awesome. The one game I think you're going to be interested. Did you play Super Meat Boy?
Yes.
Did you like it?
No.
Fuck. So you're not gonna like this game. So they
It's too twitchy.
Well, so they made Super Meat Boy into a tablet game, an endless running tablet game, and they had this. So the size of this desk, they had a monitor that was touch sensitive.
Yeah.
So we were going like this.
And everybody was like...
Well, just one person at a time.
Yeah.
But like, dude, it's good. Oh, fuck, I can't convince you if you don't like that game. But but basically, I think, honestly...
Wait, I haven't done the least for a while. Tell me about Super Meat Boy.
Let me tell you about Super Meat Boy. We didn't even talk about Civilization. I wanted to put it on the list.
No.
So I think that may be it for a little bit.
Yeah. It's our 2015 lockdown.
Who knows? Sometime in 2015. Who knows?
You never know. You never know.
No guarantees, but we'll try.
Yeah.
So remember to like us on YouTube. Does that
right here.
happen?
Yeah, just touch my balls and something good will happen. I promise.
They're not the red ball, the yellow ball.
Orange.
Or the green ball. Green ball? Yeah, green ball.
That was orange.
Is it orange now?
That said subscribe in orange.
Oh no, I meant the green thumbs up.
Oh yeah, thumbs us up.
Yeah.
Rub my subscribe button, whatever. All the stuff down here. But we'll every time we do shows, whenever we do shows, you'll get notifications. And please go check out the Noobtoob forums if you want to go talk to Noobtubers. The forums, we finally kind of cleaned up threw out all the garbage, and Noobtoob.com, all it is now is forums, and it's just a nice, cool place to go hang out and talk with other gamers about gaming.
That's right. So stay tuned. Eventually, subscribe. You may see something come up, but that's it for 2014, most likely.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Wow. Good time, sir.
Awesome, dude. Man, it's been a while. Has it really been a year and a half?
Apparently.